Hi everyone, we are gonna do leg stretches. We're gonna do them seated, kneeling, and standing. Let's begin on our seat. In Sukhasana, easy cross-legged pose, getting into the back of the hips. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold over the ankles. You can walk your hands around over to the left side and then over to the right, holding for a few rounds of breath, and then lift up. Switch the ankles, getting evenness here in the hips. Lengthen, inhale, exhale, fold. Breathe into the low back. Walk your hands over towards the right knee, and then over to the left side. And back to center. Extending out the legs, seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Pull the toes in. Feel free to slide just gently some of the flesh from underneath the sitting bone. Lengthen with a long spine. Fold forward. Option to bend your knees if you have tight hamstrings. So within any of the stretches in the entire series, if you feel any pain, whether it's sharp or dull in the joints, so for the hamstrings, under the knees, or into the sitting bones, you've gone too deep into the fold and come out of the pose. So either lift out of the pose or bend the knees to give a little bit more space in the hamstrings. To stretch the hamstrings, keep a really long spine instead of rounding forward, because that's going to take the stretch into the back. And then release from the pose. Let's move into butterfly or Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet touch, knees can be uplifted, then fold, and then drop the knees. That gives the hips a little bit more space. Getting into the back of the legs and the hips. Now we'll take this into single leg, Janu Shirshasana. Extend the left leg and take the right inner sole to the left inner thigh. The knee can just open out. Hamstring first, lengthen the arms with the long spine, fold forward. You can use a strap or a belt around the foot. You can hold on to the back of the calf or even the thigh. Pull the shoulders back, lengthen the spine, and imagine there is a string from the heart to the toe. So we're shortening that distance and keeping the chin elevated off the chest. Deep breaths in and out. And then slowly release. I'm going to take my right hip and just open it wider. Now I'm taking the stretch from the hamstring to the inner thigh, the adductor. Lift the arms, so notice the chest will spiral so that the belly button and the right ankle align. And then we'll take this into lateral flexion. Pull the shoulders down. You'll feel the stretch in the side body, the inner thigh, still into the hamstring as well. Breathe in and out. Hold here for a few rounds of breath. Feel free to pause the video if you want more of a hold time. And then press into the left heel, rise. We're gonna take this into the IT band. Spiral all the way over. The right hand will reach for the left knife edge of the foot, and the left hand can just rest softly. Taking a gentle twist to the left side, you'll feel the sensation here on the outside of the left knee. And then release and switch sides. Right foot forward, left foot bends in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Hamstring. Feeling this into the calf and into the Achilles tendon. Shoulders back, long spine. Deep inhale. Exhale, use the opportunity to fold deeper. And then rise. Spiral the chest. Lateral fold over to the right. Broaden the collarbones. Stretch and reach. And then coming out of the pose, spiral the chest again. Left hand wraps to the right knife edge of the foot. I like to bend the elbow to pull myself deeper into this stretch. Getting into the IT band and the outside of the right upper hip. Breathe in and out. And release. Seated full straddle. Taking the heels wide. Soft bend to the knees if you need it. Let's fold right through center. Pull the toes in towards the shins, shoulders back, breathe in and out. So we want to stretch all of the legs. So Achilles, calf, hamstring, and into the glutes is your posterior chain. And then we have internal, you have your adductors. Your outside, you have your abductors and the IT band. And then on the top, you have the quadriceps connecting into the hip flexors. So we'll make sure that we get all of that today. And then slowly rise. Seated quadriceps stretch. Bend your left foot forward, lean into the left hip and tuck the right foot behind. Lowering to the elbow or both. You'll feel the sensation here in the quadricep. Hug the belly in to protect the low back. Now if your low back is arching a lot, lift up your pelvis and let your booty kind of untuck. And you'll release that low back. Deep breaths in and out. And then release up to your seat. Let's switch sides. Tucking the left leg behind, letting the pelvis untuck. Lowering carefully to the elbows and keeping a little bit of an engagement into the belly. That's going to help protect your spine. And be careful of your neck. We don't want to thrust back and we don't want our shoulders to jump. So push into the elbows, pull the shoulder heads back, keeping the neck long. And then if you could send your breath anywhere, send it right here to the top and the center of the quadricep. And then carefully come out of the pose. And let's take this to hands and knees, quadruped stretch. Let's take this into down dog, tucking toes. So this is stretching posterior chain of the legs. You can bend the knees if the hamstrings are tight, lengthening the spine. And then over time, press one heel at a time, marching or walking out your dog. And then slowly lower back to the knees. Taking this now to a combination of hamstrings and quads. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Curl the tailbone under and low lunge. So this is stretching the quad and into the hip flexor. Shoulders back, and now we're just going to rock back and forth between here and your half splits. Let's lift the toes, inhale your breath, exhale, lunge back forwards. This is opening up your legs for your full splits, which we will do. Pull back, you can hold this as long as you want. And then to get back into the IT band, pull the toes in and you're going to wave the foot. So you're just rolling on the heel. The entire leg is spiraling from the femur bone, from the hip socket, not from the knee and not from the ankle. So you can hold the toes to the right and stretch more. That's going to get the back side of the leg. You can bring the foot into pigeon toe, stretch down. And then you can also twist all the way to the right and get back into the IT band again. Long spine, really important on this twist. And then come back forwards. Back to supporting crescent, left hand grounds, right hand or a strap pulls onto that back foot, pull the heel in to stretch out the quadricep. Shoulders can peel open, breathe in and out. You can double this into a back twist by leaning and twisting, gazing over the right shoulder. All right, slowly, slowly release the foot, square off your hips, sliding into full Hanuman. Hands by the sides. Breathe in, breathe out, and carefully come out of the pose. You can use blocks or pillows underneath the pelvis on that one. Back to hands and knees, and then left foot forward. We'll do that same side. I'm just gonna go a little bit quicker, so feel free to pause. Tuck the tail, supporting crescent to half split. Rock back and forth a few times. From your half splits, wave your foot, hold, and any of that rotation. Toes to the sky, long spine, twist left, IT band stretch. Then back to low lunge, quadricep. Breathe in, breathe out, and full splits just an option. And then come out of the pose. All right, floor frog. This is my favorite one for the inner thighs. From the knees, from hands and knees, walk your knees a bit wider and then angle the inner sole to the floor, and notice how the feet are flat up against the back wall. Then lower to the elbows if you can, if not, stay up onto your hands. And little by little, time after time, the knees are going to bring themselves a little further away from one another. Shoulders back, and you can rock forwards, you can rock back. Breathe into the inner thighs. Love floor frog. Pull the navel in and walk back softly, gently to the palms. Walk your knees in. You can take this into a plank for a counter or a down dog. And let's come to some standing stretches. Walk your feet in, ragdoll. Gentle bend to your knees, grab opposite elbow and sway. You can also double this into a shoulder stretch by interlacing hands. Hands to your thighs, bend your knees. Press yourself up to standing mountain pose. And then let's heel toe the feet in together to touch. Inhale, lengthen the arms, and exhale, long spine, fold forwards. Fingertips to blocks or earth. Let's pedal the knees. One knee at a time bends, getting into the hamstrings. Keeping the right knee bent, walk your fingertips over to the left side of the foot, peekaboo behind the left hip. Pull the shoulders back and hug the belly in. Slowly walk to center. Let's reset the spine in a halfway lift and then fold. Bend the left knee, look at it, and then walk yourself over to the right side. Gaze behind the right hip. And then slowly back to center. Rise. We're going to separate the feet a little bit wider, this time getting more into the inner thighs. And actually, let's go into piriformis. Let's pigeon toe. Lengthen the arms. Exhale, prasarita. With that angling in of the toes, it takes it into the external quadrant of the hamstrings and deep into the glutes. To deepen sensation, you can hold the ankles and then pull the chest through. As long as there's no pain, again, in the knee, the hip, or down into the Achilles. Slowly release and rise. This time, let's turn your toes out and fold. Hamstring and IT band. Long breaths in and out. And then slowly bring your feet parallel and rise. Left hamstring. Right foot crosses over left, lengthen up. And fold, squeeze the inner thighs when you lower and when you lift out of this pose. You can rock forwards and back. The further you're into the ball of the foot, the more it's going to stretch the calf muscle. We do want the hip elevated right over the heel. And then squeeze your inner thighs, rise, switch. Left foot crosses over right, lengthen up. Long spine fold, squeeze the inner thighs. Arrive carefully, safely. You can rock forward and back. And slowly rise. Separate your feet, Skandasana. Toes angle forward, bend the left leg. You can hold yourself up onto the thigh, shoulders back. You can move lower if you want to, hands all the way down, and pull up the toes. I feel more sensation here when I also turn the left shoulder up and drop the right shoulder down. So that really activates here into the inner thigh. Lift up, find center, retuck the hips, and then take it to the right, shoulders back. More sensation by pressing into the right hand to lift the right shoulder. Deep breath in and out. And rise. Heel toe all the way in, and then standing quadricep. Hold on to a stable object, pull the heel into the booty, and then pull the knee back, press the hips forward, lift the chest. Deep breaths in and out. And switch. Really turn the pelvis under or tuck the hips. And then we'll end with a little calf. So standing near a wall, hands push into the wall, press your right heel into the ground. Now don't hit dump and don't draw the belly down. Tuck, firmly press, and then deeply breathe in and out. Step forwards and then opposite heel pushes back. Hug the navel in. Stretching the calf muscle, feels so good. And slowly release. That's a nice little leg stretch series for you. Hope you're feeling great in your body. Miss you. See you soon.